I call upon Dr. A. Jayaprakash to start the first lecture on the most important topic, Science and Kayakalpa Yoga. Dr. A. Jayaprakash, fondly classed as JP, is a renowned plastic surgeon and age management consultant in London. He also practices in Chennai. His prime interest is aging research and regenerative medicine. He's got special expertise in reversal of age-related disease such as diabetes, heart disease, bone and joint, and neurodegenerative diseases. His interest in spirituality and anti-aging has found common ground in Kayakalpa. Welcome, sir.
வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை. I'd like to start with blessings of Guru and all the people gathered here. I'm very happy to be here today to share my views about science of Kayakalpa. I learned Kayakalpa in 1997 under the guidance of Guru and Professor Balachandra. Since then, I've been doing it regularly. I am one of the great follower of Kayakalpa, and I have done research of Kayakalpa with the help of Professor of Gynecologist in Royal Free Hospital in London in 2001 for 6 months. So I see the scientific evidences in Kayakalpa with the help of naturopathy doctor that I took from Chennai to London. So Kayakalpa is scientifically, it's been well recognized as Western world. You can see the intrinsic ancient exercise is the spiritual side of Kayakalpa, and pelvic floor or Kegel exercise with breathing is the scientific side of Kayakalpa. That Kayakalpa has got 3 parts, as you all learned this morning, our scientist friends. Ashwini Mudra is like just raising the pelvic floor with the muscle contraction. And then after repeated few times, you have the breathing, that's the ojas, and that vital fluid secretes from the base of the spine going towards the body and distribute all over the body. This is the basic element, if I explain it in a scientific way, of Kayakalpa. And when I came here in 97, I've been learning spiritual side of meditation, yoga, and Kayakalpa under the blessings of Maharishis. And that time, I started learning science of aging or age management, going through a lot of conferences in Europe and USA, meeting a lot of mentors in scientific field of aging. So the first conference I attended, an anti-aging conference in San Francisco in 2000, organized by American Association of Plastic Surgeons, that I was stunned on the day when I saw that a lot of similarities of the teachings of Maharishis and scientific world. Then I started comparing it, how we can merge or bridge the science of Kayakalpa with spirituality. So this is a real interesting field. Once you started learning and practicing yourself, you will see the effect in yourself. Just for an example, a lot of my clients that know me for 30 years, when they come to see me, doctor, you haven't changed in your spirit and in your memory. Don't you ever retire. Keep on practicing. That gives me a confidence that I am in the following what Maharishi's teachings, what I learned from that. So this is my own life that taught me how important is Kayakalpa is. So I'm going to give a little comparisons of Maharishi teachings and scientific messages. If you see the science and spirituality, the real bridging. In the science, we all talk about stem cells. I met all my scientific friends in stem cells meeting in Switzerland. And there, adult quantity of live cells with the energy ATP is the energy unit of energy produced in the body. Like we say the watts of the electricity, ATP is the energy production in the cell. Same thing if you come to the spirituality, life force is the dynamic flow in Shuddhaksh particles. And then in the science, we call them loss of polarity of cells or apoptosis, cell degeneration, loss of biomagnetism, loss of SVF, loss of cell adhesions in the spiritual side. Most vital hormones secreted in the brain from hypothalamus, pineal gland, and pituitary is the modern scientific side. And the Kayakalpa side, essence of sexual vital fluid taken to the brain from the base of spine, transported to all parts of the body. Again, on the scientific side, flow of hormonal activity keeps you, because it's one of the most important theory of aging is hormonal activity. Like, what is the nature secret? Nature secret is multiplication, multiplication, multiplication. That is why nature keeps the people, when they obtain their puberty until they finish the menopause or the andropause, nature keeps them very healthy. So nature secret is multiplication. That is why the hormonal theory of aging is very important. That is why essence of sexual vital fluid spread to all the parts, keeping them young and dynamic. So depletion of hormones, stem cells, mitochondrial activity is the aging process in the modern science. Lots of spinning Akash particles lead to depletions in the spiritual side. So coming to that, the powerhouse or the mitochondria. The mitochondria is given only by the mother to the child, the power. The Indian concept of Shakti Shivam has been well recognized in the modern science. The mitochondria is given by the mother. That's the energy battery. If you see the slide on the right-hand side on the top, there is a blue things, especially on the top on the right, there is a blue, where that is the mitochondria. The body takes the glucose or the sugar or the fatty acids or the fat, goes into the cell membrane, go to the mitochondria. Oxygen from the lung taken by the blood into the cell membrane and goes into the mitochondria. There it produces energy. That is called ATP. So the energy is produced in the mitochondria, whichever part of the cell. If it's a brain cell, it functions as a brain. If it's the heart cells, it functions in the heart. So where the energy is produced, it does the functions of that particular part of the cell. And what is come out of it is the free radicals or the end of the metabolic process that will be neutralized by the body. So that is the energy mechanism. So if you see that mitochondrial function, as I said to you, is the powerhouse of the cell, energy, ATP, energy currency, we call them ATP, that keeps us alive. That is in the scientific part. And the storage is limited to electricity and generated constantly to supply the energy. That is why sleep is very important to calm down our energy production, to not to lose too much. The mitochondrial cells through metabolic pathway using either glucose as a glycolytic pathway or a fat as a keto pathway. You all heard about ketogenic food in a big way. That is the mechanism of energy production. Body, on an average, constant around 40 to 70 trillion cells we have when we reach the adulthood. The energy metabolism happens in all the trillion cells constantly to keep the functions going. So, the futuristic medicine, this is what I've been so interested as an energy medicine. So, in my age management practice or anti-aging practice, at the moment, I'm constantly doing the energy medicine, starting from the young children, like 10, 15 years old, to the 80-year-old. The energy medicine is so vital because now even the younger generation in the school, in the secondary primary school, they come with a lack of energy because of constant stress at school and the society. So that is why the stress reduces the energy in a bad way. So this is why the cutting edge scientists are currently seeking methods slow and reverse the aging process in a big way. So the modern science is keeping that very actively. The mitochondrial health. There are two types of mitochondria. One is the wild mitochondria. That is a very active, good one for the mother given to the child. The child is making it in a big way. Mutant mitochondria is the slowdown or depleted mitochondria. So by doing our good lifestyle energy medicine, keeping the wild mitochondria constantly active gives adequate ATP to keep us alive and more active and dynamic. So the powerful combination I do now, starting from a good sportsman, they come to me, oh, I have a big match tomorrow. I need more energy. Come on, have some ATP. By having nicotine adenine dinucleotide, that is NAD. It is a derivative of B6 vitamins naturally occurring. I give them through vein, and they within 1.5 hours they get energy. They run away and go and do the big matches. And also people who suffer from COVID, they come with a complete loss of energy in a wheelchair. I give them NAD with the breathing practices, and I teach them Kayakalpa. When they go, they jump out of the chair and walk away. So my experience of 3 years, the energy medicine is a futuristic medicine, starting from small child to the older people having big cancer surgeries or neurosurgeries or big abdominal surgeries. They all get recovered with energy medicine, especially along with Kayakalpa. So this is the communication pathway or the energy flow. I always respect that. And I do really scientifically evaluate this flow of energy through salivary hormones. When you take the blood, the needle of the pain produced by the needle puncture itself will alter the hormones. When you take the saliva, you can take 3-4 times in a day and check the salivary level of hormones in a very good way, especially adrenal hormones like cortisol, the flight hormones, or the orchestra of the hormone. Hormone all works in an orchestrated form, not an individual form. Unfortunately, most of my colleagues, they split the hormones, they look at it differently, like thyroid hormone separate, like gynecological hormones separate, and other things. But I have to, as an age management physician, I have to look at all the hormones as an orchestra. They work together. That's why the salivary hormones, we look at it, the effect of stress, how much quantifiably affected your body. That is called adrenal fatigue. That's why we look at the hormones. So through hormones, like I always teach the younger generation, the energy flows in 3 ways. One, through the wire, that is electricity called neurotransmitters. Through the nerves, the chemicals go through and makes the energy flow through that body. Second, through the water going through the pipes, the blood goes through that. That's the salivary. That's the hormones way of transferring energy. Another one, all your Wi-Fi, phone, cell phone, energy transfer from cell to cell communications called cytokines. There are 1,500 cytokines, fatty acids. My mentor taught me in Boston how we need to assess the cytokines assay. That is salivary or blood drops, AAEP ratio, that is good and bad fatty acids in short forms, pro-inflammatory cytokines or anti-inflammatory cytokines. You all heard about cytokine storms they talk about in COVID. That is because of cell cytokines imbalance. That is, the inflammatory cytokines is high, affecting the lung, affecting all parts of the body. That is why if you balance the cytokines, you really control the inflammation of the body. You make the cellular connections of the energies better. That is the most important part of the communication path. The next, you all know, hypothalamus-pituitary adrenal axis. That is a command center, is the hypothalamus. When the child born, you will feel there is a depression, there is no fusion part in that way. I tell them very, very politely, hey, why God has given the depression for the child? Get the cosmic energy through that, going into the brain and make the higher command center works in a better way. And then the bone closes it. So that is the command center. Then the control center is the pituitary, the Almia center. Then the protection center, thymus, adrenal gland, and thyroid. Thymus is the most important part of the organ, essential for immunity, especially autoimmune diseases. When your thymus contract and go into smaller pieces, your immunity goes down, then autoimmune disease in the problem. So that is why thymus is getting well recognized now all over the scientific side. So the production center and the activation center, where the heart and the lungs and blood works according to the command center things. This is the system. We need to really look at it, how the Kayakalpa affect on these systems. And then this is why the HPA balance, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal balance through Kayakalpa, balance the work-life imbalances and hormone imbalances and intensity exercise, meditation, yoga. And the mechanics of Kayakalpa, already Dr. Shanmugavel has given a very detailed presentation yesterday with how the physiology of Kayakalpa works in a very good form. And also Dr. Soundra Devi, madam, is going to talk about it next to me. I'm just giving a brief idea of how parasympathetic system regulate through afferent nerves. When you contract the pelvic floor, that is the cervical, the sacral flow of parasympathetic nerves get stimulated, how it goes into the mechanism of hypothalamus to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic. I always simply tell them, hypothalamus divided into two parts. One is the sympathetic, otherwise called accelerator. Another one is the parasympathetic, I call it brake. You cannot keep it all the time in the accelerator. You get into sympathetic overactivity, adrenal fatigue, exhaustion. You should not keep all the time on the brake. So balancing both is the most vital part. And that is why the Kayakalpa, you can balance it well with the cytokines regulation, cell to communication, and then mind and body bridging cosmic energy pendulum of force. This is the little pendulum of force that I always tell them. Our cosmic energy or divine energy comes through our body, and then it goes all over the body through sexual vital fluid or vital fluid, and then makes the balance. The pendulum of energy goes from one side to the other side, keep us at. So our sky philosophies or teachings help us to balance the energy in the right form. So aging equation, this is my favorite topic that I've been learning since 2001. I'm still learning it. And the imbalance between apoptosis and regeneration, that means how many cells you die, because we have a 40 to 70 trillion cells. All the cells is dynamic. Skin cells changes every 6 weeks, and brain cells changes every 16 months. Liver cells changes every year. So new cells produce, old cells goes away. So our cell is a continuous process of changing. So aging is the passage of chronological time. The time you're born, you cannot change it. Senescence is the passage of biological time. That's your aging. Everybody can be said, okay, what is your chronological aging? The time of you are born. What is the biological aging? How your organs, each one works. And each biological aging is different for brain, heart, lung, bone, and joints. That is why in our age management, we really assess the biological aging of each organ and how to improve it or reverse the aging process. So aging increases in molecular disorders, changing adult homeostasis, increasing vulnerability to disease, ultimately death due to lack of energy. So biological aging is a stochastic process. That means very variable, not fully governed by genes. My good friend Thomas taught me epigenetics when I first met him in 2005. And that epigenetic process is a form of our Maharishi's teaching. I strongly believe the epigenetics is in our hand. Even though I always simply tell all the younger generation, hey, your body is given by your mother and father. That is the piano. How you play the piano with your fingers is the expression of your genes. So it depends upon your lifestyle. Do not blame, oh, mother have a blood pressure, my father had diabetes, I have it. That's a stupid way of blaming the parents, not your lifestyle. So that is why playing the piano is the Maharishi's teachings of lifestyle with other things. So structure and function of the cell, the difference in structure and function between the cells due to differential gene expression, each organ changes aging differentially. That is why it's important, never let the brain aging, always reverse your brain aging by proper meditation, yoga, Kayakalpa. The whole body aging can be really controlled by Kayakalpa, and the meditation, yoga, and breathing exercise control other parts of the aging is very important, because you can live without food for months. We can live without water for weeks, but you cannot live without oxygen for more than 3 to 5 minutes. That is why breathing exercise is very vital. That is why Sojus breathing is extremely important. So this is a system communication through Kayakalpa. How all the three systems communicate. As I said to you, the neurotransmitters, hormones, plus cytokines. The introspection approach through body homeostasis, hormone approach through Kayakalpa, and nutrition approach. That is the 4 biochemical reactions that already I'm going to explain to you. That biochemical reaction is the glycation, inflammation, oxidation, and methylation. These are the 4 biochemical reactions. Control your age part of the cells, aging process. That is important that we need to look after it. And the genetic expressions, it is not, as I already told you, it is not what gene you express from your parents, how to express it. That is how you play the piano of the button using it is very important. So aging disrupts the DNA damage, DNA repair. Our body always constantly reparation. The damage of the DNA get repaired and the new DNA produces multiplication happening. So that is why as I always say, yearning is professional, is easy. You can yearn for 1 week, lie down for 2 weeks, and then start earning again. But healthy aging is a constant, every minute affair. Looking after your health is a daily 24 hours looking after it, including the sleep. So that is why healthy living is more important than earning in secondary. That is why it is very important to consider your aging process by Kayakalpa and hormone regulations. As I told you, it is an important part of order of functions. The consciousness is a perfect balance through Kayakalpa, and that is vital healthy maintenance in all part of it. And then body is a machine. Body needs nurturing, especially after 50 years old. It's a dynamic state, maintaining all the 30 to 40 trillion cells. Every day you get 150 to 500 billion cells replaced. Old cells goes away, new cells. So you need to look after the new cells. All the cells need proper nutrition, synergetic, multiple approach. It is not a single approach like a software program. It is a multiple, multivariable approach. And that is yoga, meditation, Kayakalpa, sky practices, how imperative in life, how it sharpens your mind and intellect, how it stabilizes your hormone circulation, immunity, how it increases the lung capacity so you get more oxygens, and is the best curative and preventive medicine for modern living. So, stress reduction. Stress is the commonest thing in everybody's life, from the young child of 6 years old to the old people. So, by doing our sky practices and Kayakalpa stress, the most important thing is the adrenal fatigue. People don't really, even the doctors, so-called the top doctors of scientists and all the thing, they ignore adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue is the constant form that when you use your stress hormone cortisol constantly, your adrenal cortex shrinks, so you don't produce enough adrenal cortisol. Then other hormone doesn't work, like insulin doesn't work, and then thyroid hormone doesn't work. Even they secrete normally, they get insulin resistant, thyroxine resistance, and leptin resistant, making obesity and weight. Unless you reduce your stress, you cannot reduce your obesity, you cannot correct your thyroid hormone, you cannot correct your diabetes. I don't know how many diabetologists really look at the stress part of the patient before they treat the diabetes. If they don't, they have to start from today. Stress reduction is vital part. Diabetes is a lifestyle disorder. It's not a disease. If any doctor says disease, they are ignorant about physiology. So it can be well reversed, especially type 2 diabetes can be reversed by stress reduction very well. I have reversed so many people come with the insulin and so many diabetic drugs, reverse within 6 months to 9 months with the integrated pattern of it. This is, I call them 3-leg stool: mind, body, soul control, Kayakalpa, sky introspection, self-care, intervention, and medicine. The language of communication is Kayakalpa, and the drug of choice is healthy food with calorie restriction. Eat less, live longer. And this is my treatment pyramid. The base of the pyramid, I call them spiritual medicine, the entrance of the healthy living through spiritual medicine. That is important. That is yoga meditation, kaya kalpa, kaya introspection, stress management, and coping skill development. The coping skill development, somebody likes guitar, somebody likes playing something, somebody likes reading books, somebody listening to music. So every day, give relaxation to your brain, half an hour, 40 minutes. My relaxation is reading spiritual books, watching some interesting, listening to some chanting. So these are all relaxation of what I call coping skill development in a daily life. Then the personalized, we can even do gene testing, genomic nutrition. Therapeutic fasting is very important. Every 2 weeks on a Saturday or Sunday, I fast for 24 hours. That is Friday night, I eat at 7, 8 until Saturday, eat 7 o'clock. Only water, nothing else. So I do therapeutic fasting. That helps me enormously. And then hormone therapy, we do salivary hormones test, and we take natural hormones made out of wild yam and soya made in Germany, and just rub it in their skin. It absorbs it. It's natural. It doesn't have any side effects. So we treat a lot of people. They had a 2 stent waiting for the bypass operation. By using all these, we reverse the heart disease as well, especially with the Sky practices. And that adequate time sleep. Sleep is an absolute essential 8 hours. That's timely sleep, like 10 to 6. Because most of the important hormones secrete between 12 and 3 in the midnight. If you don't go to sleep before 10, that hormones get disrupted, especially stress hormone, cortisol, growth hormone, and melatonin. All the 3 hormones secrete between 12 and 3. That is the important time you have to sleep well. Then aesthetic medicine, that's my field. I always tell them I'm a painter. Once you got internal right, I can paint it as well with a good looking that gives you self-esteem for you. So we can do the aesthetic medicine. And the final part, my friends, experts, stem cell therapy, gene modulations, and all those things. So that's why I said 5 fingers. That's a spiritual medicine is the thumb is essential, then nutrition, then exercise, then proper optimization of vitamins, minerals, hormone, 5th sleep. With that full hand clenched, then you can do the stem cell therapy and gene modulation. Without 5 equipment for patient, doing anything higher is waste of time. And then this is the effect of Kaya Kalpa. You upgrade never soon. Even if you're 90, you can learn Kaya Kalpa and learn. And with the immediate effect and late effect of Kaya Kalpa. And it starts from skin regeneration to gene repair. I have a 3D camera with the software technology. I measure the wrinkles of the skin in micromillimeter and shiny index. I have seen many people how is improved the shiny index of the skin and the depth of the wrinkles improvement. That's why skin regeneration to gene repair is important, all the complete comprehensive approach. And the aims of a life, one should have a vision, personal vision. My personal vision is making the Kaya Kalpa into scientific world. That's why you have something to look forward to, enjoy your life, to prevent the degradation of your brain and slowing down the metabolic process. So attention to self-image and personal things, some openness to spirituality. I really appreciate all my scientific friends. They are very open to spirituality. They are very high intellectual top scientists in the world, but they're very happy. I'm very happy to say they're spiritually open-minded. They came here and really enlightened our intellectual talk as well. So I really appreciate them for their openness. And also this may take form of uplifting a beautiful sunset with an artistic view. Life is an art, not a science, I always say to them. And secrets of successful aging is not how long you live, how quantity independently live. So we should not stop Kaya Kalpa because we grow old. We grow old because we are not doing Kaya Kalpa regularly. So that's important thing. Spirituality and science I compare. This one I done it in front of Maharishi in 2004 with Professor Balasundaraya. We did a mini meeting in front of, that was my initial exposure. How to compare the science and spirituality. Mind control is the spirituality. Gene control is the science. And then simple principle is the science and spirituality, but difficult to follow. That is why I request you, make your mind and gene control and follow it properly. By preservation, remaining leading to simple good habit, bridging modern science and spirituality, balance to achieve the good healthy aging. So this is a little sort of discussion about our scholars, how to analyze our research. This is a subjective biomarkers, feedback from volunteers, recall questionnaires, experience with daily activities logging. And then this is objective biomarkers, resting metabolic rate. They come in empty stomach, put the mask, assess with the core machine, what is the basic metabolic energy production, ATP. So we can quantify the energy production in the body in the morning. That is why we can do that, especially with the SKY practices. VO to max and HCAN, we give the efficiency of the heart and lung. Mitochondrial assay gives the energy. So these are the type of what I call the modern biomarkers to assess our SKY practices. This is another one, the HP axis neurotransmitter assay urine. This is done in the early morning sample before 9 o'clock and then assess the sympathetic and parasympathetic activity or the excitatory inhibitory neurotransmitters and hormonal axis, cytokines with the AAEP ratio, telomere lengthening, gene expressions, epigenetics, free radicals oxidations, that is the inflammation, and then glycation, advanced glycogen end product estimation, methylation. These are the modern scientific biomarkers. We can do that. And apart from that, our future plan, what I wanted to share with the scholars, these are the things we need to look at in combination with a good lifestyle along with the SKY practices, how we can do that, including the herbs in Siddha that I believe in as well. So this should be a multi-center study with all our mandram in various places. We can do it in a very organized form. That will be a futuristic study. And yes, now the summary is Maharishi teachings and techniques, natural, non-invasive and simple. There is nothing to be really difficult, just you need a perseveration and concentration and dedication. So you take major issues on anti-aging, new findings, modern sciences, conversing with the Maharishi concepts. And then, this is my favorite scientist, Jay Wolansky from Chicago. Is there any biological limit to the duration of life? No. So that is why I always say, by regular Kayakalpa, your biological limit of aging can be extended. And this is very important. Your genes are real asset for your future generation. Preserve it, effective tool by Kayakalpa. There is one little sentence I want to finish with, especially for all the younger generation. Please put it in your memory cortex. I write it down. This is very important. I'm going to give a sequence. Please write it down. Good thought leads to good habit. Repeated good good action make a habit. Habit makes one's character. Character makes the knowledge. The knowledge makes the wisdom. Wisdom makes gene imprint. And the gene imprint made gene makeover. This is the words of my mentor, Dr. Vincent Giampapa from New Jersey. He taught me. He wrote a book called Gene Makeover. The Gene Makeover book you can add these words. If you practice every day, you will be a successful, healthy aging person. So good thought makes a good action. Repeated good action make a good habit. Good habit makes a good character. Good character gives you good knowledge. Good knowledge makes the good wisdom. That make a gene imprint. And gene imprint makes a gene makeover. That's my request. Thank you very much.